Ay, this ain't a drill. Only time I plan is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716 make them pay with some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. It's your co-host Aramis.
Yo, it's Key with no sodium today.
No sodium?
Nah, man.
Man, that's the first time in how long? It's been
a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's been a couple of good weeks, man.
Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say I don't have no sodium, but I don't think I do.
Okay.
Somebody might dredge some. I don't know, but we'll see how this goes.
All right, that'll work. So, I mean, Bills get a quasi blowout win. I guess I could say it's a blowout win. I mean, you know.
Nah, it was a blowout, but that team's about to blow up. That's what's about to happen.
Yeah,
that Jets team, they might not make it back to New Jersey in one piece. Yeah. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, I think the Jets probably have the best chance of, if they really try hard enough, they got the best chance of getting that #1 pick over the Patriots. I still think the Patriots could win another game or two. And the Patriots right now are, let me see, Patriots are at 2-8.
Can I ask a question though?
Yes.
How in the world does Tim Boyle get a pro job?
What do you mean?
Okay, let's take a look. Western Kentucky, after transferring to UConn,
okay,
he threw for an astounding 1,299 yards.
Okay.
4 touchdowns.
Okay.
10 interceptions. That's his career.
Okay. Who does he know?
There's nobody. Nate Hackett.
Right.
There's nobody that they could have got did better than that.
Not one that Aaron Rodgers would allow.
I don't even. Well, I don't know about Aaron Rodgers allow. All I know is.
What do you mean?
All I know is, and I quote.
So we're going to disregard Aaron Rodgers' entire history with the Green Bay Packers.
Are a million quarterbacks, and this is the only guy in the free world he would allow.
Well, I'm not saying it's the only guy he would allow, but
exactly, that's my point. How in the world does this guy have a job? That's all I want to know.
Because he doesn't pose a threat to Aaron Rodgers' job.
I'm going to go back to this again. Okay, Aaron Rodgers' job. Who poses a threat to Aaron Rodgers' job is not named Josh Allen or Pat Mahomes?
I'm confused.
Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers.
I'll tell you what. If Zach Wilson played well enough, he could. He could.
We know that's not going to happen. Aaron Rodgers knows that's going to happen.
Right.
But the fact remains, there are guys in the XFL right now. Mm-hmm. There are guys, the European League don't exist anymore that I know of, that have more than 4 touchdowns and 10 interceptions in their collegiate career. I mean, come on. UB, I've seen guys at UB with better stats than that.
What you're talking about is,
this is qualified as salt. Huh? It's not our team, so it's not salt, right?
No, we can be salty towards other teams.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
but that sodium is fine.
Yeah,
okay. We'll allow that sodium.
So we might have to modify our opening statement.
All truth and no Bills sodium.
No sodium towards the Bills, anyway. But yeah, I think so. The way that the Jets set this whole thing up, especially with that contract, and they did restructure it and all that, but their plan was to come in and play with Aaron Rodgers and have him be the starter and have Zach Wilson learn from Aaron Rodgers and have Zach Wilson never see the field.
Right.
And the exact opposite happened, where Zach Wilson is your starter and Aaron Rodgers, I mean, we can kind of say he never saw the field. Really, you know, he got to stand on it for.
He never saw the field on my
30
fantasy
seconds.
team.
Huh?
He never saw the field for my fantasy team.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. That was.
I registered no stats. A lot of tears, though. A lot of tears. And I'm over here forgetting. I forgot to set my fantasy line for my basketball league. So if you guys cut to me, that's what I'm doing.
Yo,
I'm doing anything crazy.
sidebars. Can we sidebar for a minute on this
That's
basketball
all we
fantasy?
do. Let's do it. What's up?
Like, can I just tell you how done I am with fantasy basketball already? Like the fact that I can have players on my team that don't play a game that night, and I got to find a way to replace them, and the only way to replace them is by getting rid of them and putting them on the waiver wire to go get somebody else who's only going to play for that day. What if it's a player I want to keep?
I mean, just take the L for that day. That's what we do. I'm not moving that much.
What sense does that make at all?
That's like basketball. You don't play every day. Basketball, you don't play every day. How many moves have you made? How many moves have you made so far? Because I am curious.
You don't want to know.
I probably do.
You don't.
It's more than me. I know that.
Does it even log how many moves you make? It probably quit logging them after I got done.
Wow, it's just a dash.
I've already made a trade with Junie. Like I needed to get rid of James Harden off my team.
Why did you have him?
It auto picked. I didn't draft these players.
Say you paid for that? Wow.
No.
Okay.
Paid?
Yeah, because it was an auction draft. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you were spending money like right. So like, yo, what are these dudes doing?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I got Doncic and I got
you got
Jokic on my team.
You paid. You were nice. You use money too. Money.
Right.
But you got a nice squad though.
I do have a nice team. I can't get them all to play on the same day.
They won't. They're not supposed to. Don't worry about that.
I'm losing games because of that though.
Well, I mean, you beat me, I think, twice.
Nah, you just beat me.
Did I beat you this time?
Yeah.
Or you beat me the first time.
That's true.
See? What goes around comes around.
So that's what I'm supposed to count on the whole season?
No.
But drives me nuts. Like fantasy football, if a guy's not playing, you go get another guy. And you like the way I do it is I try to see, okay, based on the schedule, the players that I have now, is there someone else on the waiver wire that's better, right? I'm not going to give all my tricks, but there's certain things that I that I look for, and if there's a player that might be better or might be more consistent than the player that I need to get rid of,
right?
I'll just swap the guys out and keep the guy that I got off the waiver wire. I don't need to get rid of one dude and bring him back and like keep going back and forth with players because one of them might not play on a Sunday, but they for sure playing on a Tuesday. It's like, what?
See, yeah, that's tough. But see, hockey for me is hard too, because they got the goalies.
I don't even want to think about hockey.
Goalies don't always play.
You ever in your life think about inviting me to no hockey fantasy?
Goalies don't always play, so that's a whole nother monster.
Oh man!
So right now I got two goalies, and one of them is I got Devin Levi, which they don't even Sabres don't play, but the other one I have, the team plays, but he's sitting out tonight, so I can forget about that one.
I'm ready to like shoot myself in the foot, like.
All those trades, all those moves you're making, you should be.
It's too much. Like, yo, I already got 4 fantasy teams for football. Now I gotta.
You making my head hurt, and I play
basketball. Fantasy is so needy.
It is. You have to pay attention. You have to pay attention. But yeah, so
back to the game,
right? So I wrote what I wrote for today's game or yesterday's game was this is a get right game for everybody, including the fans that we all needed. Now, people are, they're anointing. They're just that. Let's keep in mind, it's still the Jets. It's still the Jets. I mean, I'm happy. I think they have better days ahead. But you got to remember, the Jets are the Jets. After Philly, we'll talk about it, whether they win or lose.
Right.
I'm okay with it. I just want to see what they put on the field against Philly because you got to remember, too, there was no tape on Joe Brady's offense. There was nothing. I mean, they did a completely opposite of what I thought. I thought they were going to come out and run a quasi Dorsey offense, but it looks so much different. I mean,
well, they kind of did. They still did that 2x2 on both sides. And the thing I liked about that is they brought Hardy over, and he motioned over, and on the right side of that formation, it kind of turned into a bunch, like a 3-receiver bunch. Which was different. We hadn't seen this much motion from this offense.
I was going. There's motion everywhere. I mean,
right.
motion, which digs, and I think they call it an orbit motion, and you had jet motions, you had, the pinchers, there was a whole bunch of stuff happening. Shakir was lined up almost behind Kincaid at times, and, they had David Edwards still running that tight end, on the quasi 12, but.
Man, what are you going to do?
Whatever, I mean, if it works, it works.
Right.
But, they ran that quasi 12 with Morris and Kincaid out there too, so. When you got guys that, Morris is actually a wide receiver, turn tight end, turn slash man. So, You can do that. Kincaid, obviously, he's got the juice to be a wide receiver, probably a bigger, slower wide receiver, but all the same. So you can pull it off. When Knox comes back, that'll be probably your traditional tight end that's got his hand on the ground at all times.
Right.
So that's
$46 million, by the way.
What's that?
For $46 million.
Well, I didn't say he wasn't going to catch the ball. I'm just saying that he's not going to be that move tight end that they tried to make him with. Who was it last year? The guy that got cut. I forgot his name. With the Houston.
Sweeney?
No, he never Howard. O.J. Howard.
Oh yeah, I was kind of upset about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, he didn't show us anything in preseason, so I knew it was coming. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I'm ready to dive into it. Or you got something for us? What have you heard? You got stuff.
Well, I mean, I do.
He got stuff too.
Yeah, he got a lot of stuff going on over there. Stand up. There you go. We didn't get his coffee today, so if for some reason the camera gets stuck on one of us while the other person's talking,
just it is what it is.
Yeah, the camera guy fell asleep.
Say la vie. That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, get a cat nap.
Yeah, just let's go ahead and take us through what you got.
Well, I ain't got I got no stuff.
You got no stuff?
Okay. You know what? I got no stuff. You know why? Because I refused to listen to McDermott's press conference. I didn't do it. I didn't listen to Josh.
This is becoming a trend for you.
I didn't do it. I mean, you know what? I was tempted to listen to Josh.
You really just don't want to hear to do it.
No, I was tempted to listen to Josh.
So he said something today that was very interesting.
McDermott?
Yeah.
Okay, let me hear it.
So he said in his press conference that, let me just pull up my notes here. So he mentioned in the presser the words. So the reporter asked him, what steps did he see, or what did has the offense taken another step in the progression of getting to where he wants it to be, or getting to that level that we used to be at, right? Mm-hmm. And Sean McDermott said the step for him was effort and unselfish play. Now, he didn't say it just like that, but in the process of him saying his response, he mentioned effort and unselfish play as being the biggest step in improvement that he saw from yesterday. All right. So my question to you is, what does unselfish play mean?
Effort and unselfish play by the offense or by the team in general?
By the offense.
The easiest thing I would think of when I hear unselfish play is spreading the ball around, no Steph Diggs. Yeah, I mean, Gabe Davis didn't have a target. Good. Steph Diggs went 4 of 8.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think he dropped a couple and then he ended with a fumble or whatever it was too. So, yeah, so it looks like they're moving the ball around. What do you have for it, though?
So I'll take that a step further, right? Mm-hmm. And I like the response because it kind of grounds the statement a little bit, because it seemed at first like he was putting that on Josh's shoulders, just from the standpoint of Josh playing selfish and wanting to make all these big plays and stuff like that, and the way the offense was called. And again, I haven't gotten a chance to see the all 22. It doesn't come out till
tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, it comes out Tuesdays?
It's 48 hours after the game.
Oh, I thought it was 24.
Sometimes, but I don't think I've ever seen it 24 hours.
Wow.
It says 24 to 48, but I don't think I've ever actually successfully watched it within 24 hours.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. So anyway, I think I thought it was on Josh when Sean said that originally, but you kind of swayed me a little bit. But I think it kind of lines up with what Brady talked about, and Brady related it to a saying that he heard Bill Parcells talk about, which is there's a way to win every game, and I actually really loved hearing that come from him, because that's always been the mindset that I take, going into any of these games, and one of the things that was a problem for me was it seemed as though the offense was trying to win one specific way every game. And when it didn't work, they didn't have an answer. When it did work, it turned out like yesterday's game does.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But too often, results like yesterday happened against teams like the Jets.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is you can't spend your whole, NFL career beating up on bad teams and think you're going to win a Super Bowl that way. At some point you're going to have to find a way to beat these better teams. You're going to have to find a way to beat teams that are better than you.
Yeah. I mean that team was they were a mess. I mean, offensively and defensively they were a mess. From just getting beat off the ball on the defensive end to infighting to the guy hand coming through his glove or whatever that was all about.
Ooh, yeah, he definitely broke that pinky.
Yeah, was it the pinky?
Yeah,
I don't remember which finger it was. I just know
broke
it was
that bad boy good. Man,
it came out the glove.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the thing. Like it was fun. It was fun, and just not to detract from your point. It was just one of those deals where I took it at face value. I took it for what it was.
Yeah,
and then. Now, next week, like I said before, is the one I'm going to say, okay, are we going to carry momentum over? Is this the real Bills team? Is this the team that we have, the ones that play with emotion, the ones that play fun, the ones that play with each other? Or was that just something that, just a rebirth because they were back home? That's my biggest thing. Are they happy to play at 4:25? Do they not like playing on prime time? What is it? So that it's just so many questions for me as to where we really stand with this team.
Well, this may answer one of them. So Brady talked about. Actually, no. Let me get past that because I already kind of stated this.
Mm-hmm.
The way that Brady called the game. He talked about in the presser how, in the first half. They focused more on Kincaid and Diggs, and you know what I mean. They wanted to start off trying to go with what they thought were going to be the advantages in personnel, right? And then in the second half, what did you see more of? You saw more of passes to the backs,
right? Setting
up those those shorter routes or those checkdowns that could result in bigger plays, and they did twice. The fourth down play to 26. What's his name? Ty Johnson. And that ended up turning this into a touchdown. And then the scheme play where the linebacker missed Cook, and Cook marches right into the end zone after catching the ball. So that it wasn't just that either. It was throughout the game. Like once we got to like the end of the third quarter, the game was over anyway. But you still saw the run game. You still saw passes to the running backs on key downs, and the running backs were able to make key plays in the passing game.
I think they just weren't playing with their minds. They were just playing with instinct. They weren't going to be stopped yesterday. And I mean, I know the Jets are good and in theory on defense, but the way the Bills, the energy they had, that first hit by Gilliam, that was it right there. I mean, at that point, I was shocked, and I think I tweeted out. I did tweet more than I usually do yesterday, but I tweeted out that I think that was the juice they were talking about. That was the trend set. That was the move. Just to smack the guy on special teams on the first play. Offense goes out there, but then they only get 3 on the first drive.
Yeah, well, the problem I have with that is this: the Bills are 5-2 at home, and they're 1-3 away. Right? We're talking about a team that still has to go to the Chiefs. They have to go to the Eagles. They have to go to LA. They have to go to Miami. Mm-hmm. Right? We got the Patriots here. We got the Cowboys here, and that's it. Right? So 4 of our last 6 games are away, and we got a bad record playing teams away. Right? So
yeah,
I mean that troubles me if it takes something like that at home. Especially when the team comes out and they're only getting field goals. Now, granted, Jets are a good defense, but
just where they got the ball. I mean, especially in the first one, like I said. I mean, they took the ball away and they got it on the 20-yard line or whatever it was.
That should have been an easy touchdown. It should have been. But again, first game as offensive coordinator for Brady. The players getting used to how the play calls are being dished out, and after a while, the players start to get a feel for what the OC is trying to attack, and they start to kind of gel with the game plan or the adjustments that are being made in game, and it flows. And I think that's what we saw yesterday. There was more. It was for sure more of a flow to the offense. There was a lot more of plays that you could tell were geared towards exposing matchup advantages, as opposed to just trying to, I don't know. Dorsey's play calling seemed to be kind of static at times where.
Yeah, he was very conservative.
Right.
He was very conservative.
I'm just going to call this play and, the check down should be there. Just go to that. Like,
I give Josh a lot of credit because he actually saw it this time. I mean, we've seen numerous times that we've talked about over the weeks.
That might just be good coaching.
It may be that, but I think I put in my notes. I said I don't know how you get Josh Allen to throw the check down, how you get him to throw and create rack yardage. That's something that even Dable couldn't do.
Right? Did you see what did you see Josh's reaction after Ty Johnson scored that touchdown?
The headbutts?
No.
Oh, okay.
He was still on the field, and he was like, "Wow!" And I'm watching this. I'm like, Josh, have you seen run after catch like that before?
Nope.
Probably not. But still, like, it was refreshing to see the players that we have. And I didn't know Ty Johnson was that fast, but even though I didn't like the move, I think, looking at how he plays, I might rather have him as one of our 3 running backs than Fournette at this point.
Yeah, Fournette. Well, Fournette for me was an insurance policy on Murray or other. I think Ty Johnson got hurt at some point, but no, I don't honestly, I don't think that he factors into the top 3. Somebody on the broadcast yesterday said something about him being maybe 4. They could field 4 of them, which I don't really need them to, especially with the defense dropping like flies. Speaking of which, I'm going to say it again.
Here we go.
Can we have salt? Can we have salt towards broadcasting?
Huh?
We have salt towards broadcasting. Will you allow that?
I think if we're allowing it to other teams, the broadcast team counts as another team. Is it our broadcast team?
Can we stop showing Damar Hamlin every time somebody gets hurt?
It matters.
Dude.
His reaction matters.
Ambulance.
He could tear up at any second, and we have to be there to catch it.
I guess so. Every ambulance, Damar Hamlin. They caught him picking his teeth. What was that? A couple weeks ago?
That's right.
He's like, I'm
just watching the ambulance.
I'm doing nothing. I'm just. I ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Why are you showing me?
Can you imagine if he would have seen the camera looking at him? He's sitting there. He's like, man, that ambulance kind of look fat.
Yo.
No, you're right.
Got to do something. But the thing is, like, okay, did you hear the broadcast when Dane Jackson got hurt?
No.
He's like, Dane Jackson, he's down. He's looks like he's being tended to his hip. College teammate and childhood friend of Damar Hamlin. They're backfield mates and they're good friends. I'm like, why did you have to tie it back to him? Why did you tie it back?
What they're hoping is every single time somebody gets hurt, they flash to Damar and a single tear falls out.
One tear. Damar over there with his hat over here, he like.
Right.
He ain't even know. So can we stop? Can we get a petition? Because this is the 3rd time that production has been called out for showing him in these kind of situations. I mean,
Locked Rain says for real about DeMar.
Thank you. Can we stop?
Yeah,
my God.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's just like if we're to be a Bills team, if we're to go through, the trials and tribulations and bring it back. I don't want to be that feel-good story from last year. I want to be a team that won based on the field that they play on in this day and age. What happened before happened. I won't say we grieved it because he's still with us. Mm-hmm. But Poyer said we moved on. Hyatt said we moved on. Hamlin said we moved on. We've moved on. Production, fill it with something else. Because it does nothing for anybody. It just does nothing.
Latre said he's the Taylor Swift of the Bills. Yo, I said that at the beginning. Wait, when did I say that? I said I called him a mascot. I called him a mascot. That's exactly how they use him. He got into one game, and I think he played like one play.
Well, he played some special teams, but not a lot. And
I mean, that's what the second he made the team, that was my mindset on it. Like, okay, but are you actually going to let him play now?
I knew. I didn't think they were going to let him play. I didn't think he was going to play this year.
Then why is he on the team?
Well, I thought this was going to be like that redshirt year to get him back in shape for next year. But
in shape?
If Von Miller can use that excuse, why can't DeMar Hamlin? I told you that before the season started. That Von Miller garbage was nonsense. I'm so over. Okay, let's go back to the game because I got thoughts on him too. It's 6-11. We're still doing good. Okay. I had to get it off my chest. I'm sorry. Right. I'm sorry, y'all. And for those of you that agree with me, thank you. Yeah. What you got? Because you were making a point. And I just sidebarred completely into.
I don't even remember what it was.
It's fine. We were talking about defense. We were talking about.
No, I think we were still on offense. Jackson. You went to the broadcast. Then you went to DeMar.
Okay.
But we were talking about offense still.
Okay. All right. And I will say, James Cook, once again.
Oh yeah, you truth.
He's the guy. Yeah. And also Shakir. Shakir's our number 2 receiver. I don't want him on the outside though.
Can he be number 3?
No, he's a number 2. He's just going to be in the slot. He's like Cole Beasley.
You're not hearing what I'm saying.
No, he's number 2.
Kincaid's got to be the number 2 guy.
He's a number 2. He's a number 2 receiver or number 2 offensive weapon. Kincaid's not a wide receiver.
I'm about to start throwing something.
Kincaid is not. Is he a receiver? Is he a wide receiver? That's what I said. He's a number 2 receiver.
Listen, when you go through the progressions, you don't say I'm gonna look at the receivers first. Then I'm
not talking about progression, but right now Gabe Davis is our second receiver. Number 2 is Gabe Davis right now.
No, you want him to replace Gabe Davis
in the pecking order? I want him still being a slot like a Cole Beasley, where Cole Beasley was our number 2 option. But I don't want him on a boundary. I want another boundary, but I want Shakir in slots at all times. I don't want to hear no more about Hardy. I don't really need to see anything else.
So you're trying to say you want him to be our number 2 option at wide receiver?
Yes. I mean semantics. Tomato, potato.
Well, no, they say all the time. They say it matters. It matters. We're on a talk show.
What? A talk show? Right. Okay, Sally Jesse Raphael.
So let me check this out. So here's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. When Kincaid is your number 2 option, it creates a different dynamic than it does when Kincaid is your number 2 option. Right?
Wait, say it again.
I'm sorry. It creates a different dynamic than when Shakir is your number 2 option.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, if you have Diggs as your 1, as far as options go, you have Kincaid as your 2.
Right.
Shakir can be your 3.
I still would say Cook is 3. But what I was saying was Shakir is our.
So you're pecking like.
No, you see, you're missing the point. I didn't say he was in the options. I'm saying why are you in the depth chart? If you're talking about. Options. If you're talking about wide receiver options, solely wide receiver, I would go Diggs, Shakir, and whoever is going to replace Gabe. But that has nothing to do with the overall landscape of the team.
Okay.
How you outlined it before when you said Diggs, Kincaid, then Cook. That's still the way I like to go.
I guess that's where I'm getting confused at. Like, because I'm thinking, okay, well, if it's just receivers, why does it really matter? Because Gabe's not getting the ball anyway. Like we saw that yesterday.
Why isn't he getting the ball? Because he's trash.
He's terrible.
Exactly. But Shakir is a right. We've been looking for. Did we bring
a permanent marker for that jersey? It's been sitting behind you for weeks, and we still haven't really crossed the name Davis out of 13.
Whoever's 13
There's only
next
one
year
13 that
one.
lives in my heart, and that's Johnson.
Whoever's getting that jersey next is going to be, yeah.
So should we just put it on the wall, frontwards, so you can't see the name on the back?
Well, we can do that. We'll have a raffle, or not a raffle. We'll have a wager on who the next 13 is going to be.
A wager?
Yeah, we could. Through the draft, through free agency, it's going to be a receiver somewhere. I'm pretty sure.
We might be able to auction the jersey off
with a big blue X through. Well, a skinny blue X through it. Guys, can you see this?
No, they can't see it.
What did it show you? It looks like a perfectly good Davis jersey. You can't see nothing there. It's a blue X on this, believe it or not. There's a blue X.
It probably faded. Oh no, I can see it from here.
But can you guys at home see it?
It's
Somebody
a camera.
comment.
If you know how far that camera is. Listen, the camera looks close. Don't believe him at all.
But no, I honestly, what I'm saying is, okay, how else can I word this? Because what I'm trying to get at is we have two options. We have two answers at wide receiver.
Okay.
I don't want Shakir to be that boundary guy. I don't want to move him outside.
No, I'm cool with that.
That's what I'm saying. I when I say he's the number 2, I'm saying in lieu of Gabe Davis or whoever is out there.
Yeah.
But I don't want him moving out because when people hear the number 2, they think about that Z.
Right.
I don't want him in the Z, but I want him to be that, that number. You could put whoever you want in the Z.
Right.
Basically what I'm getting at.
Right.
So, no, I still go with your thought because Cook is dangerous. Kincaid is dangerous. Yeah. And I actually like Kincaid. We'll talk about that in a little bit because I had some thoughts on him as well. Mm-hmm. That had nothing to do. Oh, you got it too?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is a weird show. It's going to be weird the whole
This is a very weird show because we won in. I mean, it's a weird game. It was just weird. Yes, you can ask, please.
I've been fighting to be as positive as I can.
I ain't fighting at all.
This is, to me, is another fool's gold game.
It's killing them inside.
It is.
I know it is.
I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm not built that way.
This is. You're right. This is what we open with, though. I mean, so it's not that you're wrong. It is a game that could be fool's gold, but it also was a game that taught the team in a situation they really needed a gimme. They really needed a win with the new OC, and it has nothing to do with their standing. It has nothing to do with they just needed a proper boost into the new system against a good defense. Mm-hmm. So I think it wasn't a fool's goal because I don't know if anybody really had us losing that game. I mean, maybe not to that degree of a win. I don't think anybody had us just blowing the doors off the team, but I don't think that it was a game that was supposed to be close.
Well. Okay, so schematically, what the Bills did yesterday is something that pretty much every team can do to that defense, which is keep them on the field, go tempo so that they can't sub out, wear them out, and run on them.
I'll take it a step further. I have it here. To your point, to what you say, I just want to stop you right there because the Giants lost to the Giants 13-10. They passed 6 of 14 for 7 yards. Mm-hmm. They ran 52 times for 208 yards. The Chargers lost 27-6. They passed 16 of 30 for 136 yards. Ran 21 times for 84 yards. The Raiders passed 16 to 27, 153. And they ran 32 for 148. So that goes right into what you said. And they lost all 3 of them. Well, 4 because yesterday. Right. But that lends to exactly where you're going. I mean, it was kind of those deals. It was a layup.
Yeah.
People say, "Oh man, we're back." We're not back. It was a self-reflective game. It was a game where you have to figure out what we can do under this new what's this guy's name?
Brady. Joe Brady.
I had it until I messed my mic up. And I think that was like a tighten-up game. That's how I look at it. And that's all I'm taking from it. And that's why I say I don't. It was beautiful to watch. It was fun to watch. It was a good time, but I'm not learning anything until next week.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how I felt throughout the entirety of the game. I didn't really get excited at all about it because it's a team we should have beaten week 1 the same way that we beat them yesterday, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I think week 1 was just it was a combination of Josh being put in this new situation with new expectations of how he's going to operate the offense. Ken Dorsey, being in the situation he was in where there's a harder thumb on his offense this season. There was a lot that went into that. But my point is this. The true test is going to be against the Eagles this coming week away from home. Mm-hmm. Because here's the other thing, too. I think if we still had to go to New York City and play, or New Jersey, rather, and play this Jets team yesterday, I think it would have taken a little bit longer for the Bills to get their offense going in the second half and even in the second quarter. And so, for me, that doesn't inspire me. It doesn't really give me the answers I'm looking for. The only thing that I think I took solace in was Brady's creativity and how he used that playbook, because it's the same playbook. As Sean McDermott said in his press conference today, there's not going to be any major overhauls of the offense or anything like that.
You can't.
So.
I mean, right now you can't. Like we talked about before, you can't run an air Coryell out of this. The air raid offense is not going to work out of this. So, I mean, Brady did well with just disguising the same plays we had. I mean, it wasn't. You know, we go to Madden sometimes talk about it, but you go and you just keep hitting X, or you keep hitting whatever at the bottom on the Xbox controller and
put it on family mode and just hit X for everything.
Well, what I'm saying is you don't. There's no motions, there's no line adjustments, there's no anything. You just keep hitting X, snap. That was Dorsey's offense. Brady does the X thing, but he's sending people in motion first. He's being pre-snap creative.
Right.
You know, I wrote in my notes. You know how Josh said they were going to start having you know, celebrities and athletes and their cadences, and that Jamal Adams, that was grimy. He called out Jamal Adams. I was like, what does that mean? Then he called out somebody else. I forget who it was, but you know, I thought just the fun that they have, it came out. And your boy,
he called out another name too, didn't he?
He did. It was I forget who he said, but the Jamal Adams one was like, I was like, man, he poo-pooed on the Jets when he left, so. That's real grimy. That's why it stuck in my head. But yeah, he called somebody else. I forget. But they actually said it on the broadcast. Whatever he said the second time. He also heard him say something like 57, stay there. He was talking to Mosley. You know, and Mosley like got stuck, and he jabbed and he dropped out. But you know, it was just the play where Dawkins like swanton bombs Clemens, and where they started fighting. Remember? Because actually Dawkins was in the wrong. That was perfect. That was definitely a penalty on him. I'm sorry, guys. It was a penalty on Dawkins.
That explains the flop.
No, that was hilarious. Because everybody's crying like he's dead, and then he gets up, and he's like, I'm like, am I watching the Harlem Globetrotters? Yeah. What is this?
Yeah.
You know, but, I mean, there was a lot of fighting. You look at Kincaid, and that was the point I wanted to make. When Josh Allen, I think it was the third down, Josh Allen scramble, took a hit from Whitehead. Kincaid came out the sideline, ran into dude and bumped him, and was talking mess to him in the back, you know, while he was going back to the huddle. Mm-hmm. You know, and then the play when Diggs got into it with Franklin Myers, mm-hmm. and who was number 11? Do you remember who that is?
On the Jets?
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't 11. I think it was a linebacker, somebody. But anyway.
Sherwood? No, he's 40. I think he's 41 or something like that. That might be who you're talking about, Sherwood.
Might be. You know, he got into it with Franklin Myers, but Franklin Myers, I swear he threw a punch at Osiris Torrance. I swear he threw a punch, because that started the whole deal. Because however his arm went flailing, and then they were pulling Torrance back, and somebody grabbed Franklin Myers by his jersey. Then Diggs goes in and pushes Franklin Myers, and here comes the other guy. Yeah. You know, it's big melee, and the announcer's like, "Oh, don't do this, don't do this." I'm like, "Nah, let him, let him go."
Of course, you want to see somebody get punched in the face.
I mean, you know, they got the helmets on, but then, like I was saying, Kincaid was in on that too. So I just thought you know, the energy level that it was different. It was a non-Billsy kind of thing. You know, Josh Allen's running down the field, headbutting people, and everybody's in the stands, Lambeau leaping. But I thought about it when Rasul Douglas did it. It's a lick effect leap, right? Mm-hmm. But he actually is from Lambeau, where they actually do the Lambeau leap. And I mean, it's small, but I thought about it after. I'm like, oh, I wonder if he even knew he hadn't, because they did it before he did his. Somebody else jumped in the stands too. James Cook wasn't taking no chance. He stood on the side. Somebody could have pushed him off if he wanted to, but but the thing is, they were feeling themselves, and they were happy. They were smiling. Diggs, 4 catches, 27 yards, smiling the whole time, dapping everybody up. You know, fighting people. It was just different. It was just a different, and that's why I say it was a game that we definitely needed as fans and as the players themselves to kind of come together again.
Okay. Well, I mean, I hope that's what it was for everybody. Damn sure was not for me. I'm sorry to say. I hate seeming like the grouch or whatever.
Do you?
To me, I needed to see more out of the way that the offense executed. It's still not at the level that we were in 2020 or 2021, where we were just firing on all cylinders, and we were doing things that could not be stopped, but it was exactly what we wanted to do, right? The notion that we have to find ways to win games, that's not the way the Bills used to play. The Bills used to play a fashion of offense where try and stop us if you can, but it's not going to happen. And, did Brady show that he has the potential to bring us back to that? Yeah. I think I've seen enough, especially in the change of the way they attacked from the first half to the second half. To me, that was probably the biggest thing that I would say I needed to see, because sometimes even with Dayball, you didn't see major adjustments from the first half to the second half. But to see Brady get a chance to kind of take a look at how things were going and say, okay, we're going to go this route. Even though it wasn't what we planned on doing, these are the plays that I'm going to call. And he's probably talking to Josh before the play. All right, this is what we see. This is where you should be able to go.
Well, I liked in this press conference where he asked about the shotgun versus under center. He said, he got in depth with it. I actually liked this press conference. For you who asked if I was watching the press conference, I was actually driving, so I was kind of listening to it. But yeah, I liked. Matter of fact, another breath of fresh air was that high fade with the gold chain. Chef's kiss.
For who?
Brady. He had the high fade with the gold chain in the booth. That's not Billsy at all. I was like, yo, that is a welcome change. I was like, this is my guy.
So Joe Brady is Travis Kelce light?
I was like, yeah. I was like, this guy got swag. But you know what honestly, you know what it is for me though? I think what it is for him, and more than being funny about his haircut and his chain, which actually it really honestly and truly was a breath of fresh air. Just it was youth. It was youth. To me, it symbolized a fresh way of thinking. It symbolized that DeMeco Ryans kind of deal where I'm young, but I can do this.
Right.
I'm not one of the good old boys. I can do this. Watch. Right. And they infused, raw emotion when they showed him on the tie down touchdown where like, let's F and go or whatever he said, giving a high five. And I'm not, trust me, I get where you're coming from, because I am not going to let myself get to that point, because like I said, it's just the Jets.
Right.
It's just the Jets. Jets, Jets. But while watching the game, you saw things like you said that were different while being the same, and that tells me right there that the guy has the ability to be flexible. Right. He has the ability to add the salt and pepper to the to the old ways, to the meatloaf that just wasn't quite hitting. Mm-hmm. They had potential, but it wasn't hitting. I know exactly what I'm gonna use that Louis Creole seasoning on it. That's what I'm gonna do. But when you said something about what'd you say? I lost my train of thought. But when you talk about Joe Brady and never mind. I don't even remember what you said anymore. I don't even know.
It doesn't matter what
it doesn't matter. I just really like the infusion of what we saw on top of what we used to see. It wasn't a kicking the kids to Ken Dorsey. And that was one of those deals where could Dorsey have taken a backseat? I'm not saying I want him to, but I'm saying, it didn't change that much. It was just I think it was just the attitude. And as much as the offense, as much as they don't want to say it, I think they're happy that Dorsey's gone.
Yeah. I think it might take them a few weeks to say that, but I had a heart attack moment during the game, and I don't know if anybody else did, but based on Josh's history with this particular play, did you see the high-low play that Tony Romo was recommending on third down? It was second half.
Yeah, I remember him saying something about a play. Yeah, I didn't take a note of it, but I do remember mentioning it. Yeah,
so he wanted a high-low play. I think it was a third down and like maybe 8 or something like that, and the receivers were kind of in tight on the left tackle side. Well, it might have just been Diggs on that side, and then they had Kincaid and I think it was Davis on the other side.
Probably.
The second he said high-low towards the sideline, my heart dropped.
Yeah, that's that play that they always throw interceptions on.
That's the play that Josh continues to throw interceptions on, and I was praying to God, please do not let this play get called. And, it didn't get called, but that was the one heart attack moment that I had because, if I'm an offensive coordinator, the one thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get my quarterback as far away from those plays that have haunted him all season long. And it seems like he did it. And what I do appreciate is the plays that he did call that were similar to ones that Josh struggled on. There were things added to, pre-snap to make those plays work. Right. And to have done something like that in such a short period of time, I think also speaks to the aptitude of Joe Brady. So
you could tell he's been there before.
Yeah.
You could tell where was he before? Louisiana State. So
you mean before Carolina?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I know I said it's the old in me coming out.
Right.
Just said
LSU.
LSU.
I'm
You're
not
like, what?
a college football person. I'm like Louisiana. LSU.
LSU.
Okay.
Yes, that's what that's for.
Okay.
I thought
Yeah.
I thought it was a University of LS, but no. I remember now what I was saying in regards to where I had a brain stumpage. When asked about the shotgun versus playing under center, he said, and he answered it. He said, we know Josh is comfortable with certain things, and we know that under center is more available to the run. He said, right. But what you want to do is you don't want to do something just because you're not a caller or the quarterback's comfortable with it. And he said you want to see how the defense is playing. You want to see what the protection is. You want to see, and I mean, I never heard that kind of level of detail when explaining this whole thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not an OC.
Without giving too much away.
Right, but see, I was waiting for him to say it without giving too much away.
See if did he say that? Burning on that one.
Did he say that today?
Nah,
because I didn't hear it. And I was waiting for something.
Yeah,
and he answered everything. I'm like, wow, that's something too.
Yeah,
Dorsey. And that's the crappy part about it. From day one, I said before the show was on, this dude's not equipped to be an offensive coordinator.
No, he's not. He never.
I said he's not going to be. But they threw him right there anyway. And press conference, he's up against the wall, like at a school picture, the Olin Mills pictures from back in the day. Well, what we're gonna do is, I'm like, somebody, Mitch Morris, hello, come help
right,
me.
Yeah.
Mitch
Morris comes out, puts his arm around him, starts answering questions for him. Like what?
And that's where it was. But then you see Joe Brady, he's talking. And it was funny because one of the guys, I think it's the guy that gets on my nerves, and I don't remember. Honestly, I don't know which reporter it is, but the one that always asks the question, always gun on. He said something
he
to
asked the question like what?
The one that always gun on when he asks those questions. It's the same guy that asks the dumb questions I always talk about in the press conference. I remember I always say.
The Mookie dude?
No, not Mookie.
Oh.
It's another guy that he asks like the most ignorant questions. It makes no sense. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm like, yo, somebody take his mic away.
Okay.
But he said something to Brady today on the press conference, and Brady didn't respond. He's like, I got you there. Hello? Are you there?
Oh, is that why you said that?
Yeah. And Brady's like, oh, yeah, I heard you. I'm like,
oh, snap.
Like, just cut to the chase. I'm like, high fade. Gold chain.
Oh my gosh.
My guy.
Yeah.
My guy. I got to find a way to keep this guy around for a little bit longer. I don't know. But no, I think that's why I just enjoyed the game, because it wasn't painful. It started off super slow. Actually, I wrote in my notes, super sluggish offense.
That was like, painful to watch at the beginning for me.
Oh yeah, the first two drives, super slow offense, horrible. But I mean, they didn't do the turnover thing. They didn't, there was one play where it had to be Romo because he's the sage with this, but he called out Josh Allen on that corner route, not corner route, to the front pylon that was almost intercepted on the left side.
Yeah.
He said, "See, this is what happened." He said, "What he did was he stuck on that read." He said, as soon as he slipped, next read, but instead he kept looking at him, and I'm going to force it in there.
Yeah.
He said that's how turnovers happen.
Yeah.
And there was another instance in the game later on where I forget who it was.
Let me ask you this though before you get to that.
Yeah.
Is that a result of Josh being told not to run? Or is that a result of Josh deciding to stay in the pocket and force something?
Arm arrogance. He had plenty of time, but he really wanted that pass. He really wanted to go there.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think if this was 2021, he wouldn't have taken off?
He may have, but I don't think that's what it was though, because he had plenty of time to make a read and make a throw. But I think what it was his arm arrogance. Like, I got to get this in there. I want to make this play. because he still wants to make those big plays, and I think that's what that was. I don't think he looked at Diggs, or I don't think he looked at anybody else. That's where he decided he was going to go, and that was all to it.
So I actually watched, because I think they replayed that play like 3 times, and I actually rewound it and watched it a couple of times after that. He's got a guy in his face when he throws the ball.
Okay.
Right? And he's throwing it kind of off of his right foot almost. And it's almost all arm at that point, which is amazing that it gets to where it was, basically past the defender on a rope. You know what I'm saying? Off of his back foot with a guy in his face. But all of that is to say, the moment that Romo's talking about when he should have thrown the ball is right when the guy was getting when his own lineman was getting pushed into his face, right? And so that's what caused Josh to have to move and reset and try to get that ball to him. So if you look at the progression of the play, not that I'm trying to correct the arm arrogance, because I think there's times where you do see that. Like, I think, to be honest, if we're really looking at it, the play to Shakir was arm arrogance.
Oh, that was beautiful, man.
We say it's beautiful because it worked out, but like,
the concentration,
really,
sure.
Sauce was right there. If he picks that off, that's arm arrogance all the way.
How many times has Steph Curry shot a ball? You're like, yo, that was okay, all right, good. That's what happened.
Right.
Yo, that was the dumbest. Oh,
yeah.
that's you live with that. But yeah. I remember the reason why I don't know that he can't run, because there was another play where he's reset the line 3 times before he just took off. There was a play in the game where he reset. He set the pocket up 3 different times, then he went. And so I think for that one, I mean, you look at this one, this play I got here. I don't know where he was looking. This was third and 8. In first quarter, 6 minutes and 5 seconds.
He's looking at Diggs over there.
Yeah, he's looking at Diggs the whole time. But you got Shakir, you got Cook. Would have split this guy. He would have to make a decision. If you pump fake, I say pump fake here and hit him here. He should have hit him already.
It's
Why wouldn't you hit him here?
It's 3rd and 8.
Why wouldn't you hit him here?
It's 3rd and 8.
I know, but what did they get from that?
Huh?
What did they get from that play?
Nothing. Field goal.
Yeah, right. Well, why wouldn't you give him a chance to make a play?
Because he's not going. Sean was not going for it on 4th down. If he didn't go for it on the 15,
4th down, no.
No. You okay? So back up a second. This is what I'm saying. If he throws it to Shakir right there, and we should probably make a way for people to see this, what we're talking about here. So 3rd and 8, it's the first quarter, 6:05 on the clock, and Shakir looks like he's running a route over the middle, and where he is, he's still, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6 yards short.
Yeah, he's about 6 or 7 yards short from where he would catch the ball, because he's only a yard past the line of scrimmage at this point. So if Shakir catches the ball, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 Jets defenders that could close in on him fast enough to stop him from getting the first down. So let's just say, for instance, Shakir is a beast, uses his speed, and he gets 6 yards. Right? It's 4th and 1.
And what do?
You kick a field goal.
Which is what they did. But what happened in this play, Josh Allen scrambled around, got hit, threw the ball out of bounds. Just complete the pass.
Okay, but if the result of both plays is kicking a field goal, what does it matter?
It matters in the grand scheme of the fact that he's locked onto a guy that's covered by 4 guys. Again, when Cook is in the flat, like you just said, Cook's in the flat. Shakir is right here for a short gain. You might not get the first. But you got to give somebody a chance to make the play.
I think that's why he's locked on, because he's not looking anywhere near Gabe Davis, whose foot is in the shot here. But
why
just know he's not. Well, because he's not getting the ball.
Exactly. Right? So why would he?
Right. But here's the other thing. Here's the other part of that too. You don't think the defense knows by now Gabe Davis ain't getting the ball? Why is that not being addressed? Like, why is he even still on the field? That to me is the most bothersome part about this.
You put him out there, or you put Sherfield out there, it's the same result. Okay,
but Sherfield is still faster than Gabe Davis, runs better routes than Gabe Davis, and has a bigger route tree than Gabe Davis does.
And still doesn't get the ball thrown to him.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is Sherfield is more likely to separate based on the routes that he can run than Gabe Davis is, where Gabe Davis primarily runs clear out patterns. Like that's about it. That's all he runs. So if you put Sherfield out there, And, within the scheme of the offense, now you have another guy who can shake open in man coverage. That's one more option you have. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you add that to your offense? To me, it makes no sense to do that. But back to
points taken. But if he would have ran out, if he would have slid 3 yards short, fine. But he's dancing around in the pocket. He scrambles to the right, takes a hit, and throws the ball out of bounds.
Okay, so this is what I wanted to say about this. Josh's mindset is on third down and anything is I want the first down, right? And he knows his head coach is not going for it on fourth down. So if you're a quarterback who knows that you have a defensive-minded head coach who's not going to give you an opportunity to make up for, or not make up, but he's not going to allow you to make the smart play, which would have on this play would have been to Shakir, let him get 5 or 6 yards, and give you a 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Right? If Josh knew that he could go for it on fourth down, I think he would have thrown it to Cook or thrown it to Shakir on this play, right? But he's not. What he's trying to do is he's trying to, if he was playing peak level, he would have stayed on Diggs for a second more and then thrown it to Davis, who's running towards the end zone, and it looks like the corner.
You look right here. This is the problem why he couldn't stay there, because he was scrambling to the right. Dawkins was getting beat, so he came out of here, went to the right.
Oh, so yeah, everybody else that was open over there was out of the play. It was over after that.
That's why, for me, I would have said, if anything, hit Cook. He was cooking.
Okay.
He would have made a miss. Who's this, Mosley probably?
Well, he would have made one guy miss, but there's two guys that looks like your boy.
No, that's not Mosley. Mosley's here. This is Mosley's here.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Mosley, this is Williams.
Right. So Williams would have met Cook at the line of scrimmage. Right?
Well, this is the thing here. This is why this doesn't work, because Josh has the ability, and we're talking like everybody sees our screen. I don't know how we're going to make this work.
It's got to be frustrating for people.
I don't know how to make this work. Basically, what's happening is if Josh can manipulate this guy, he could free up a little. If he could freeze him, even if he didn't move him out of here, he could freeze him. And that would give Cook just a little bit of time to get back to the line of scrimmage and do whatever he has to do. Like I said, if he doesn't get it, you get the same result. And my thing, I think the reason why I'm looking at this is just because he got hit and he threw a ball out of bounds. So there was no play to be made. Nothing happened. I could say if he even threw the ball. No, I don't know. If he threw the ball to Diggs there, I'd have probably lost my mind. I'd have lost my mind. Around 4 guys. Now that's arm arrogance. But yeah, like I said, for you guys, if you guys want to take a look at it, just go back to the game and watch it at 6:05 mark in the first quarter, 3rd and 8, and just take a look and see what you think. Let me know what you think.
All right. So let's get into the defense. There were 3 major injuries yesterday. I don't want to say major because nobody's out for the season, but there were 3 injuries that looked bad yesterday. 2 guys out with a concussion, 1 guy with a stinger, and I guess after the game, well, not after the game, but during the game. Did Hyde come out during the game? Because he had a flare up with his stinger situation or something like that Sean was talking about in the press conference today. But the only injuries I knew of was Taylor Rapp.
Yeah.
And the two corners.
Yeah, I don't think I don't remember him coming out. He could have, but I remember, they pulled a lot of the guys anyway. So
okay. So defensively, it bothers me heavily that the reason these injuries occur is because we have poor tackling techniques.
Mm-hmm.
You have 195, 200-pound guys trying to tackle a 6'1", 220-pound guy head on, shoulder on.
Yeah,
they're trying to hit him with power.
The one that took Dane Jackson was a tight end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no win on that one. There was no win on that one.
Well, I get there's no win, but like there's
no. I'm on your side. I'm saying for that hit, there was no win. What was the gain from that?
Right.
You know, go low or wrap his ankles up, whatever.
Exactly. You see what people are doing to Kincaid all game long. Was it last week?
Last week,
they were going right at his legs. And every game that somebody's going at his hips or his legs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are all of our DBs trying to body people when they don't have the size to do it? I could understand if we had like four or five Cam Chancellors in the backfield there, but every one of these guys are too small.
Poyer got bodied by Brees Hall. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I mean, I heard. I mean, you can hear that clear as day.
Right.
You know. Yeah. No, you're right. I all of them. The linebackers too, because the size of the linebackers. When I will give T. Dot his flowers. He was good yesterday.
Yeah, he was decent.
I will acquiesce. But. Yeah, Terrell Bernard. He's been a culprit when it comes to tackling in poor form. Poyer and Hyde, Trey White. He's never been a tackler, so that's not something that's going to change for him. He's more of a wrap up guy anyway, because he doesn't seem to like the physicality that comes with just trying to put your shoulder into people. But yeah, I mean you're 100% right, and you notice over and over and over and over again you hear a crack and our guy is on the ground.
It's maddening. It really is. It's maddening. I actually just lost my whole train of thought when I saw your notes here.
Which part?
It says Rasul Douglas is a playmaker. Too bad he's 30. My whole brain just fell apart with that. I did not know he was 30 years old, and that makes me even more upset.
Yeah.
Because
he's 29 and change. He'll be 30 this year.
Still,
I wanted to be correct. I didn't want you to have maybe you can get some of your brain matter back into your cranium.
No, because I really thought he was like 27, 28, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
we gave up a 3rd round pick for this dude.
I mean, look at what he's doing. I mean, for this year and next year, I don't know how they're going to keep him next year. I have no idea.
That's what I'm saying. With the cap situation, how do you keep this guy next year? But will I take him being our number one this year? Yeah, fine. He is a playmaker. He's always been that way when he's been put in a position to do that.
I did not know that. I mean, that dude was. I mean, I have a point in there. I don't. Let's go back to your point. But I have a point before it's on Rasul Douglas. But he's firing away. Well, there's a stark difference between him and any other cornerback we have.
100%.
If you noticed, I think it was the first interception. Yeah, it had to be because he had 2 interceptions, right? The first one, he was playing bail technique. And what happens? As soon as Wilson makes up his mind, he plants and attacks the ball.
Yep.
You don't see that from anybody. I mean, he didn't attack the man. He went for the ball.
Yep.
I mean, when I tell you I was excited, when I tell you I watched the game again today, and you see that when you watch other teams.
Mm-hmm.
You see that when they're playing against the Bills. But it was so refreshing to have a guy on our team that actually could do it. It was so refreshing to watch a guy in red, white, and blue do what he did.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I ain't mean it.
Yeah, no. Listen. I knew he was this player watching him in Green Bay, and although he didn't have major numbers in Green Bay, he also didn't have the opportunity that he has now to be the number one corner for a defense that may still be able to contend for a championship if they make the playoffs. Right. It's tough. It's tough. And I'll dial back a little bit of the frustration with him being 29, almost 30.
You're frustrated. I can tell.
It is because this is as much as I want to, applaud yesterday's win and all that. Watching Sean in his press conference look all smug, like he's back to win the team's winning ways, and Mookie gave him props and props on the win. Like Mookie's good at talking Sean up. It's like Mookie got a little something right here. I don't know if you know that or not.
Coach McDermott, Mookie Hawkins. I'm like.
Right.
I mean, I like the guy, and I like his zeal for what he does. You can tell that he really enjoys his job. But it's like,
that's cool.
Man.
But you don't have to go that
back
far.
A little bit.
He goes all the way up in there and rubs up and down. Dude, stop. But anyway, Sean had this little smirk or this little, look on his face after he got done talking to him. we don't. The last thing we need is Sean being confident in himself about anything right now. If I'm gonna get what I want.
And I thought about you. I was in a conundrum last night. I'm like, man, yo, this one felt good, but how am I gonna get excited about what I saw yesterday and still not talk Aramis into a tangent about Sean McDermott getting fired for 45 minutes? It's a slippery slope.
Yo, I will bust this whole microphone right off the desk. I'm not even playing. Don't you start me on that road, bro. Like, but here's the part that I'm still hopeful about. Some of what the Bills did on offense yesterday is different from what we saw under Ken Dorsey from the standpoint of letting Josh be Josh. Mm-hmm. And Joe Brady even said that in the press conference today. Yep, he did. Letting Josh be Josh. I know we were talking about defense. We kind of got away, but
well, you wanted to go to the defense. We could have talked about offense. I don't care. Dude, okay. This is our win. So this is Bills Monday.
There's just a hodgepodge of stuff we're talking about on the team. Well, I'll try to keep it as organized as possible. But yeah, so seeing that stuff, it was like, and hearing Joe Brady say that about, you just got to let Josh be Josh. You just got to let him play his game. That was Brian Daboll talk, and it gave me a little fuzzy feeling inside, like deep inside, like above the waist, but still deep inside,
deep within. Yes.
Right. To hear that, because the opportunities to do that are going to be plentiful against the better defenses and the better teams in general, right? And that's why I think this game coming up against the Eagles is such a huge test, because while they don't have tape on the way Brady calls games, they have one game of tape. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, they know what the offense looks like from the previous 9 games, right? So
on top of that, they got speed on their offensive side, and our defense is porous. So
exactly,
they're and to go back to the offense, and I think, are we still talking?
It doesn't matter.
No, I'm going to go back and forth, but I put in my notes that we were aggressive because we knew the Jets really didn't pose a threat. In my mind, I thought, would we have called these kind of plays? Would we have been like
against
that?
The Eagles? No.
Oh yeah. Would we have? That's my thing. Would we have called that game if we thought that Zach Wilson was actually going to be about something? Would we have called that game if we thought because they went 2 games without scoring a touchdown or whatever it was? I think what was the stat they said? 129 touchdowns were scored in the last 2 weeks, and the Jets don't have one of them. Right. How does that work? So the Bills are like, let's try everything. Let's go ahead. Right. What's the worst that could happen? And so I think if you look at what they did yesterday versus what they're going to do next week, don't expect the same offense. I wouldn't expect the same offense, not the same output, but I wouldn't expect the same kind of game plan. It was a little more aggressive than you went to against the teams that you said were good teams.
Well, I hope it is. I understand why you say that, and what we have to really hope for is that Sean understands how to beat the Eagles. Because that's really what it boils down to. Like he's gonna look at the game plan. He's gonna say he's not. I don't think he's at the point yet where he's just like Joe Brady. Just take the offense. I don't need to see it. You got it. I don't think he's at that point yet.
No, I wouldn't be.
Right. So if that's the case,
his job's still on the line.
The idea of this balanced offense that they want to run is not going to work against the Eagles. The Eagles are the best run defense in the league, the best. Right. You're not running against that team. You're just not. Now, on the other side of that, their defense, their pass defense, is extremely porous. Mm-hmm. They're bottom half of the league, right? If I'm not mistaken, they're 11th from the bottom in terms of pass defense.
In yards or?
I'll
get it for you. Okay. I can get that, but I didn't know whether you're talking about yards or were you talking about just.
No, I think it's total. Well. Yeah, it would have to be yards because you can't go total defense.
Well, they do the DVOAs, they do all that stuff too. So I didn't know if you were talking about those other metrics or what. But yeah, either way it goes.
They've been beat a lot through the air. That defense has, and even the games that they played close, It was more of a shootout than it was the Eagles dominating with their defense and doing whatever they wanted on offense, right? They're not the same Eagles team from last year. Their defensive line is, and their defensive line is definitely improved, but from the defense, after you get past the defensive line, their linebackers are not great. That secondary is a little bit older. Yes, they traded for Kevin Byard, but it hasn't reaped the benefits they thought it would at this point. I mean, the most Billsiest thing that could possibly happen is that pass defense comes in on Sunday and they just dominate the Bills and the Bills can't pass and do anything. That would be the Billsiest thing to happen to this team. And then everybody talks about, well, we should have run the ball. I'm telling you right now.
Well, I'll say this. The Eagles allow 3.7 yards in the attempt. They've only allowed 597 yards, but they also have been run on the least out of any team in the NFL. They've only had 160 rushing attempts against them this year.
Okay.
Passing wise, they're 14th in the league in yards allowed.
Right. So we got another comment from Locked Rain. He goes, or she, I don't know, but if the Jets can be, if the Jets can beat the Eagles, so can we. I'll stand on the cross for that.
I mean, you like it, I love it. I'm not gonna come here on Monday after the Bills win and say we're screwed, because I don't believe so. I don't believe that we're screwed. I think the talent was always there. I think we always did have the talent. I think that's why I jumped on them so hard when I did. Yeah. Because the talent was there. It's just the realization that's not.
Right. You know. I agree with that, and I do think what I'm trying to say is I think the Bills' strength should do well against the Eagles' weakness, which is the pass game. Right. If the Bills are allowed to exercise that, because that's really what I'm trying to say is if we try to do this, we gotta run as much as we pass, have a balanced offense, and play complementary football. I'm
waiting for somebody to explain what that is and really tell me what it is. I'm just waiting. People have tried, but they're not able.
Right. Hold on. I think I gave definition to that. I was thinking about it. I got this in my notes from last week. I do. I got this in my notes from last week. Let's see if we can pull it up now. It's loading. But yeah, I was thinking about exactly what that means, and I started thinking about what we've seen that Sean would consider, Sean might consider, because I don't know obviously, but Sean might consider to be, that definition of, why is this taking so long? I'm on the Wi-Fi. Goodness gracious. Okay. So when Sean says complimentary football, I wrote this in my notes just like this. When Sean says complimentary football, he means check down to the pass catching running back, which is typically Murray, because at the end of games or on third downs, Murray's in there to pass block. So check it down to him. The second thing, there's only two. Second thing is throw the underneath pass to a wide receiver running an in route or a slant route. Safe, efficient. Don't put your team don't put your defense in a bad situation, because you're not, putting the ball at risk. Right. These are the only two ways that you can move the football without putting your defense or putting the ball at risk on offense, rather, in the pass game on third downs or any other down. Right. So, again, that part is. It's a kick in the balls for me too, because how the heck are you supposed to move the football with some of the better offenses if that's your idea of complementary football? Yeah. If the idea is to play safe and efficient so that the defense can go ahead and win the game, I mean, we're playing with CFL players now at this point. Like, what are we doing?
And they made a comment on the show on the broadcast last night about how a solid defense is easy to plug in, backups, because they're not without falling off the wagon.
Yeah, because they don't do anything different.
Right, they don't do anything different. It's not complicated, and they have people behind them. They don't put all their eggs in the starting lineup. They actually say, what if something happens? And somebody
they have a scheme.
They have a scheme. They have a philosophy. They have a plan.
Yep.
Which, watching the Jets, you wouldn't believe they have a plan, but trust me, they do.
Yeah, I mean, the kids, they talked about it yesterday. The kids Sherwood that's coming up for them. They already have Quincy Williams. Quincy Williams is a young linebacker up and coming. I think he's 25, 26. And then now this guy Sherwood that's coming in, and they still have your boy. So, I mean, you can have a pipeline when you have a scheme.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point. And so now you getting me back to last week's conversation. Let's just move on. Let's just move on.
Okay.
So
okay.
In lieu of the injury to Taron Johnson, are we going to see Saran Neal play nickel?
You know,
I think Cam Lewis got hurt too.
What's hilarious about that is I was looking at this, and that's why I said, ooh, because I happen to have it on Saran Neal's PFF coverage grade. Now, full disclosure, he had a decent game. However, that fake punt went against him, so that screwed his rating up completely. I mean, it destroyed him. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
18 yards.
They don't show you what it was before that, or
without that, no.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean that's the only limits he has on his record. But then you got to remember we still got guys we can call up. What happened to Kyron Brown? What happened to that Herb?
Jamarcus Ingram,
that Herb guy that we called up.
Herb.
Yeah, you remember Herb? Now I got to find Herb.
Herb.
I hope his name is Herbert.
That was a derogatory term back in the day.
Yeah, it was.
Back in the day.
Herb Miller.
Right.
Are you a Herb? What is that? But yeah, Herb Miller, this guy.
Oh my gosh.
We picked him up, and I don't know what happened to him at all.
Is that a Carolina jersey I just saw on him?
It is. It is. That's where we got him from, Carolina.
Yeah, look at that.
Cleveland. Yeah. So I mean, I don't even think he actually dressed for him. Actually, there it is. He signed a reserve future contract, and then he got cut before the season. How do you get a jersey when you don't even get to? Never mind. Never mind. He didn't even get to the preseason. He got a jersey. Whatever.
Right.
I shouldn't ask the questions I want to ask.
So are you saying all this to say Saran Neal's going to do a great job? Or
no, I'm saying this is that we got options, so it's not a foregone conclusion. I don't know. Did Cam Lewis get hurt? I know he had the tip on the, what was it, the Poyer almost interception?
Yeah. He's got a they said it's I think it's a stinger for him too.
Everybody's got stingers.
Yeah.
Everybody's
well,
got
I mean, keep trying to tackle people the wrong way. That'll happen.
Yeah.
That'll happen.
I mean, it's true. I mean, things happen where you get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, and you might get twisted up. But when it's just a tackle or something like that, that's a no go.
So,
what?
Sorry. I was just gonna move on.
No, I was done with that.
Okay, all right. So Jets are now in third place in the division. Bills at 6-5. Jets at 4-6. Jets are. Wow, their record is even away and home. They're 2-3 both. That's actually not bad. Our team gives up 40 more points than the Jets have scored all season.
After hearing,
we've given up more points than the Jets have scored all season long.
After hearing about them not scoring in 2 games and only putting up 6 yesterday, I can believe it.
Yeah,
I can believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, we played some good squads, and some of the teams we played that weren't good, we just ran it up on them, so they just did whatever.
Right.
But wait, were you doing defense in totality, or you?
No.
Okay,
all
right.
No. The Sean McDermott made a comment. Well, he was kind of asked about AJ Epinesa in the press conference, and I gotta start writing this stuff down. I kind of briefly ran through it before we started the show, but
I commend you for listening.
So one of us has got to do it.
Yeah, I gotta take a break. Yeah, I gotta take a break.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah. So Sean was asked about AJ Epinesa and to kind of just talk about his. I don't remember exactly how the phrasing went, but it was something to the effect of just talk about his effect on the game and his progress to this point in the season. And Sean just kind of what he said, he clearly blew this thing off. He goes, well, Yeah, how did he say it? Man, I want to play it. I'm gonna go and play it. I don't want to botch it up. It's short, but
you know where it is in the press conference?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's towards the end.
I thought I was in depth when I used to write down timestamps and stuff to know where stuff was, but you just look at his face and say, "Yep, right there." He blinked 3 times. This is the point right here where the comment is.
Well, hey, I just watched it. Now, if you would have asked me that question yesterday or tomorrow, rather,
Understood.
I wouldn't be able to answer that.
Understood.
So let's see. Yep. Oh no, that's not the right one. Where's the one from today?
Did you see Metakevich got hurt yesterday too? Did he have a concussion? Did they say anything about that?
I saw yesterday.
Metakevich?
Yeah. Because he went down and he was on his knee for a long period of time. I'm thinking he looked kind of dazed. I was thinking I didn't know what happened to him, but
the special teams coordinator is going to get fired.
He should.
for letting Metakevich get hurt. That's why he's going to get fired. He let the superstar special teams player get hurt. That's why he's going to get fired. Oh, my gosh.
Thanks, Sean.
Is this
Coach Mookie Hawkins.
Coach Mookie Hawkins.
Right on cue.
Job in the NFL and place out.
Oh, that's when they were asking him about going to Philly. He was correcting them. No, Buffalo's my home. But no, it's not, Sean. No, it's not. You can go back to Philly anytime you want, bro.
Go ahead.
Football team in this case as an offense.
And then just with, I know you mentioned Dawson might still be out for a while.
Nope, that ain't it.
Clarification on Cam Lewis. I don't know if you said
It was towards the end.
what a great energetic boost it was. But I want to ask you about the technical aspect of the tackle. I mean, that's textbook tackle.
What did you say about that? What did he say about that?
When you're flying that hard on special teams, especially with all the rules these days, you're just going to kind of go into how important that is to make sure you maintain that form, not get a penalty, and do it the way he did it?
Yeah, I mean, that was the opening kickoff. I thought there was great energy in the stands, and then to come out and see our kickoff team cover that kickoff like they did. Really, the first 2 kickoffs I thought were very tense, emotional, and guys on the sideline were fired up to watch our kickoff team cover, and they did a great job.
Thank you.
How many times are you going to say kickoff in one sentence?
Well,
Hey, Sean, I was curious.
Easy when you're talking out your butt.
I get he's coming back. We've talked a lot about him coming back from the injury and how that's a work in progress. He played less snaps kind of than he had in recent weeks. Was there any reason for that, or just kind of how the game went?
Yeah, just how the game went.
And then Leonard Floyd obviously had a big day yesterday. He's kind of had the injury, kind of dealt with it. And
Sometimes it's your night. Other times,
here it is.
I feel like he's been very consistent.
that was as a group. That
Okay.
was what I saw. Those guys were productive and disruptive.
I wanted to actually ask about AJ too. He's someone who we talked a lot about early in the season. Do you feel like he's been very consistent throughout this year? Like you're seeing a lot of production from him, a lot of success. But I guess how would you assess where he is at this point?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's your night. Other times it's not. Other times it's somebody else's, and you're affecting things, or you're doing something that allows the other person to get the sack and the number, right? So I think he's playing well. I think he's playing hard. He's playing physical. He's preparing, and I think the best is yet to come.
And then just curious if
Why you can't get a man props? Why you can't give him his flowers?
Well, because
He's been your most consistent, best pass rusher all season long.
nobody worked harder.
Not
than Von
named
Miller.
Leonard Floyd. Then who?
Nobody worked harder than Von Miller. Nobody works harder than Von Miller. I mean, he keeps saying that. And speaking of Von, and I know. I just want to say, he had 16 snaps yesterday.
Good.
You know what's even better about that?
What?
Some of those snaps he was dropping back in coverage. Okay, carry on with your EJ Vanessa point.
June, you want to come and finish the rest of the show?
He like whatever. He's like it's whatever, man. I'm in there.
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah, I was like, what? Why is he backing up? Because I was like, why is he so far away from the ball? Because we've talked about how he hasn't given a lot of effort at getting to the quarterback. I'm like, did he get pushed that far back? But then I rewound it.
Right. But even last year, did he ever drop into coverage last year?
If he did, not very often.
I don't remember seeing him drop in coverage once.
Yeah, if he did, not very often.
Right? Now he's getting limited reps as he comes back from injury and prepares for the postseason.
Yep.
If we get there.
Yep.
Okay.
Let me compose myself. That was actually in my note. I wanted to bring that up. I wanted to make sure I brought that up before we close. Obviously, we got some time, but I just wanted to make sure I hit that point because that stuck out like a sore thumb. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but that just seemed wrong to me.
Do you know who he was covering at the time?
The tight end. I think it was in drop back zone.
So Conklin?
It was probably it had to be that side.
It's going to end up being another situation. And I think this is what I took from the game. This is probably the biggest thing that I took from the game, and this is disheartening for me. While I love having a young mind like Joe Brady in the building to do what he's doing with the offense, I know. And yeah, you can call me whatever you want for saying this, but I know it's only for a limited time.
Yeah.
Because if Joe Brady does a great job even this season, and then he's good next season, he's going to get a phone call.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to want him. Yeah, it didn't work out with Carolina. They didn't have a quarterback.
They didn't have a coach. They didn't have a head coach either.
Exactly. Now people are able to see what Joe Brady can do with a quarterback. All we got to do is give him a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And he can be our head coach.
And officially, stay on that point, but officially Von Miller did have 2 passing plays where he dropped into coverage out of 12. So he had 4 plays against the run, 12 against the pass, and 2 of them were dropbacks.
Okay. Timeout. I could understand if this was a Chiefs game. I could understand if this was a Cowboys game. I could even understand if this was next week against the Eagles, that you're trying to be deceptive and drop Von into coverage even though he looks like he's going to rush the passer.
Right.
Why are you doing this to a Boyle or a Wilson? Why? Why did you even need to do that?
I wish I remember who it was. That would make it even worse. I remember which one it was. Actually, it wasn't. They're both pretty bad. Why would you do that? Indeed.
Exactly.
Indeed.
Since the second quarter, you've been dominating this team all game long. They know they couldn't do anything against you. Why even put that man in a position to have to work his knee a little bit more than he has?
I was going to say that too, because that turn and that torque, that's not something you need to be doing.
Right.
This is mismanagement.
Exactly. That's what this speaks to. This is the same as 12 men on the field to me. The same. Mismanagement of assets. You spent a 3rd round pick on a 29, 30-year-old ball hawk that you probably should have and could have traded for and gotten 3 years ago. Because Green Bay wasn't using them all like that this whole entire time.
All I can say is, in my notes, I put buy Von and Trey. I mean, come on. You got the production. They're way better than the guys they're replacing. I mean, Rasul Douglas replacing Trey White
100%
at half his salary. Leonard Floyd got 9 sacks, 9 sacks, whatever it is.
Yep.
At half Von's salary.
Yep.
In a year where you're looking at being down $41 million, you got to make tough cuts. And I don't know if you noticed, but Von's his body language wasn't right on the sidelines. He didn't look like he was too into it. Mm-hmm. Probably because McDermott is having that infight that we thought that they were having with Josh and whoever, or Steph and whoever. Because Von wants to play, McDermott says no.
Yep.
Or Von wants to do this, and McDermott says no.
Yep.
So what did you? And I don't want to sit here and I don't hamstring me to make it sound like I'm a Von hater, but I feel like, why did you bring him here if you're not gonna let him do what he does?
Exactly.
Exactly. And it hasn't been that great, but I saw him actually get a couple pushes on the quarterback yesterday that we haven't seen all season. I did write my notes in jest. And actually, it wasn't just because I really wanted to know at the time. I said, where did I put it? I said something about where did I put it? I said, how far up the field is Von going to rush? Because he ran clear past the quarterback numerous times.
Yeah, that's been a big thing for him this season.
I think that's been his career, though. I think that's his thing. He likes to loop. As much as he likes to get through with the hand movement and third, but he likes to rely on his 4.42 speed to get around the tackle, and then clean up in the back or whatever when the quarterback's scrambling around in there. So obviously he's not going to get to a Lamar Jackson or something like that. But most of the quarterbacks they're not that fleet of foot, right. And you have time to make up the difference by like we saw with Jerry Hughes before Von Miller. He just didn't have the technique. He didn't have the discipline, which is something that McDermott always preaches: discipline. But we're not seeing it on his unit again. Right. Proof positive by you and was it Sal or whoever it was who mentioned the poor tackling.
Yep. I think if and I don't mean this how it sounds. I think it's a testament to how you watch tape and all that. But if you know that Von Miller likes to loop, every other team in the NFL's got to know that.
They know.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so going into a game, the quarterbacks are knowing that. Mm-hmm. As soon as you see Von go and he goes right past you, you need to start sliding a little bit.
Right, yep.
Right? Give that tackle a little bit of time so that he can get in position to keep Von Miller back over on the other side and get that ball out. Mm-hmm. That easily gives your quarterback at least another 2 seconds, that right. little slide. Right. So, I think at this point, what this really boils down to, and what is what it looks like is going to happen the rest of the season with the Bills is you're gonna see the offense start to take off, mm-hmm. and you're gonna see the defense start to dip because you're going against much better offenses, much better quarterbacks, and even though you are definitely going to face much better run defenses, these pass defenses can be had, mm-hmm. right? And I'm talking. Even the Cowboys, pass defense can be had, right? They're down Van Der Esch, who was one of their better linebackers, right? He's more of a run stuffer, but he's right. decent in coverage. Micah is probably going to be rushing every single down because they want to get to Josh, right? Eagles are going to give up passes, mm-hmm. so the Dolphins are definitely going to give up passes mm-hmm. because Josh owns Xavier Howard, so. It's a situation where, can Sean handle the success of the offense going forward, and how is he going to handle the challenges that the defense is going to face going against the best quarterbacks that he'll see all season in the next 6 games, right? And Tua in Miami is different than Tua in Buffalo. On top of that. Mm-hmm. Not that I'm trying to toot his horn. I still think he's an average quarterback playing in a great scheme with great weapons, right? But he's at home. You got to respect that too. Patriots, done. That's a win, right? But you got to go see the Chargers in LA. The Chargers in LA are a different team than they are out of LA. And that's a team that can score points whenever they want to score points. They can score points on anybody. The issue with them is they can't play defense in the fourth quarter. So all of this stuff has to come into play. It has to come into the mindset of the head coach to understand what it takes to beat a dominant team. I don't want to just make the playoffs and then roll the dice at all. Let's see what can happen. Like, I want to be a team that goes into the playoffs thinking, yo, everybody got to come to Buffalo. Everybody. The same way that you were talking about last episode that you wanted Josh to be, not necessarily brolic for the sake of being brolic, mm-hmm. but to demand that respect. Like, I want this team to be able to demand that respect. And we got a head coach that got his head up his ass so far that he cannot see how he's a detriment to this team, both schematically and philosophically. And I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of people making excuses for it. Joe Brady is going to make Sean look like a saint all over again. Yes. And we're going to be stuck with this BS next year.
That's kind of why I didn't want to watch the press conference. To me, because I want Joe Brady to be great. I want the Bills to be great. But I want, like I said before I had my meltdown a couple of shows ago, I want the guy that's in that position to be able to adapt and say, you know what? I don't know everything. I want that guy, which is Mr. McDermott. I want him to be there. And I know he's not, but I want whoever's holding that seat to say, you know what? My way didn't work. What do you have? I want to be involved on the strength of I want to be involved. That's fine. But I don't need to have the control. I just want to know. I just want to look at it. I want to conceptualize what I'm going to see on the field, which is your job. Because that's, at the end of the day, that's what you are getting paid to do. You're getting paid for your subordinates to put the best product on the field that they can. But where you're right is he's not going to do that. He's never going to do it. And that's why I had a meltdown, and that's why I couldn't defend it anymore. Because the whole time, like, if he just does, because I didn't believe in him.
Right.
But my mind was like, yo, if he could just do this, if he could just act, he's not.
It's like, he's a good coordinator,
yeah,
but you're not seeing him do the things that good coordinators do.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, your game plan your game plans are typically pretty good when it comes to stopping average to below average quarterbacks. It often works. Mm-hmm. But once you start seeing the guys that are above average or elite, you got to start having that Jim Schwartz type of attack. You got to start having that the Cowboys type of attack where it's just dominant no matter what quarterback you play. Mm-hmm. You got to have a defense or a scheme that's good no matter who you play.
Right.
And we haven't seen that.
Nope.
Right? Whatever a team does well, the Bills try to take it away, but they can't because they're built to do one thing, which is to stop the pass. Mm-hmm. Right? So if a team comes in and they can run the ball and they're good at run the ball, the Broncos. I mean, heck, the Jets could even run the ball yesterday, and we knew they weren't going to pass anywhere.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you look at what they built the team to do was rush the passer.
Right.
And when they don't get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sacks in a game, they fall apart.
Exactly.
So, like you said, one-dimensional, you can't have that. You can't have that. They're not even to the point where they're trying to take something out of the game in terms of the whole pass game. They're just trying to get to the quarterback. Never mind the back five. Mm-hmm. Never mind the middle of the field. If my front four can't do it, we're screwed. And we've seen that how many times this year.
And I forgot to link these two things too, because you used to talk about before you got it out of your system. You used to talk about a lot how you hated that Sean built this defense and really built this team solely to compete with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Right? And remember last episode we talked about how, I had this theory that is it possible that Sean hired Dorsey just to keep him away from Daboll?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I completely forgot to connect the two because with the way Sean has reacted throughout this whole situation with the hiring of Dorsey, his beef with Daboll, it probably is plausible and it probably is likely that Sean built this team to beat his ex-boss that fired him after 1 year.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing about. I think I just got to the point where we had bigger fish to fry than the Chiefs because we were losing to everybody. So
right.
It was like, who did we? Well, we haven't played the Chiefs yet either. If we would have beat the Chiefs, then went on the skid, then I'd be like, yeah, we still only built this team to beat the Chiefs.
Right.
But when you see the Bengals, what are you going to do against the Bengals? What are you going to do against the Jaguars? What are you going to do against the Patriots that nobody thought were going to beat you? I mean, and this is the thing, Miami's still out there. I'm not trying to discount Miami because even though we beat them, what's to say what's going to happen in week 18? So, I mean, my thing is right now, you're right. I think they regressed in the sense that last year they had an identity on defense, whether it was flawed or not, which it was. We want to beat this one team that didn't make it to a game that we even played in the playoffs.
Right.
So you're right. And I think that's why I kind of just lost all faith in press conferences and that third, not because I gave up on the job for this show, but just because I'm like, yo, you're right. It's obvious. Whatever you say about that I will believe. I will co-sign because it's true in the regards of Sean McDermott. And he's going to say whatever he wants to say. I don't want to hear him talking about a good win, I don't want to hear him talking about they fought hard. Right. You went out there and you destroyed a team that Quentin Williams is in Sauce Gardner's face. You went out there. Oh, did you see that? I'm like, What did he do? I mean, I don't even know what he did, but then you got to.
It might have just been his technique, instead of going for the interception, go, make the play on the receiver or something.
It might have been, but then you got the cameraman replaying the Zach Wilson fall when he ran on the field. I mean, these are bumbling, fumbling idiots we're playing against, and you play a good. I refuse to take that away from this game.
Yeah.
I refuse to look at that game and say, you know what? Hell yeah. We back.
Right.
I refuse.
You can't do that.
Can't do it.
Because
this team beat themselves, basically.
Right.
You know, they had a couple. We got Garrett Wilson over there jumping up and down on more than one occasion. There was somebody else was waving their arms. They had Zach Wilson almost take the coach out. I think that's where he got benched anyway. He got mad. He got ran over.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like, yeah, we played our game. Did we play our game well, or were these just that bad? That's the question I have. If you can tell me unequivocally we played our game and that's how we won, which I don't think anybody really can do, then I got to see what happens next week.
I want to ask you a stupid question.
It's not a stupid question.
I want to ask you a stupid question.
Yes.
Would you take a Bills loss against the Eagles if it was 52-48?
Bills lost to the Eagles 50-48. Man, if it's 52-48, McDermott's seat is hot again. Well,
you think so?
It's still hot. I think it's hot now.
I think it's still hot. Yeah,
but
it's
giving up
be.
52 points, yeah. I think because if they give it 52 points, what is, let's see, Philly?
I didn't expect you to see it that way. But
yeah, I mean, 52 points, and I'm not even talking, you know, I'm a defensive guy, but I mean, you look at, they haven't scored more than 38 points this whole season, and I was to Washington. And you know what Washington's defense was. Wasn't that that's post-trade, so that means they didn't have Chase or Montez Sweat.
Yeah.
They only scored 38. So if our defense gave up 52 points, nah, man.
Nah. You wouldn't take that? Okay. Would you take a Bills win if it was, let's take the Jets game. Would you take a Bills win if it was 20-14?
Did we beat the Eagles 2014?
Yeah, we beat the Eagles 2014.
I think I would take that.
Really?
I think I would have to take that. I mean, if the Eagles what are the Eagles? They're 9-1, 8-1.
Hold on. They are, I'll tell you right now. The Eagles are.
Yeah, they only lost to the Jets.
Yeah.
If we can beat it, if we hold an offense, and I gotta pull this up now because I need to know. I need to know. I'm going to stat muse, guys.
Oh boy, the cartoon players.
Because I need to know. Okay, so Jalen Hurts, 2,300 yards this season. DeAndre Swift, 614 yards. AJ Brown already has 1,000 yards. Let's see.
Swift is just sick with it. He
needs
more touches.
He's sick with it. That was a crazy big pickup. I mean, you're looking at a team that's, let's see, what are they? They are 9th in rushing attempts. Their offense isn't even. Yeah, they're 5th in passing average, 8th in sacks.
Sacks given up? Because I thought they were like one of the best teams in the league as far as getting sacks.
Yeah, sacks given up.
Yeah,
because it's offense.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, maybe I put too much stock in their offense, but yeah, I would take 20-14. I would take that. Okay. Now, with the caveat of, are we trying to build a case against McDermott, or are we just saying, you know, in terms of
not even. I'm trying to pose the question to see, you know, philosophically what is better in terms of what would be accepted from a Bills performance standpoint, right? So if the Bills are able to score 48 points on that defense and we lose, does part of the narrative become, man, this Bills offense is on fire?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good. If the offense could score 48 points, I'm happy with that part. But if we lost and the defense gave up, the defense, the vaunted defense, 52 points, you know, 48 for a team that struggled to score up until, I mean, outside of the Miami game, that would be a huge lift for that side of the ball.
Yeah.
But then you would create another, if there was a division that they alluded to before, it might show up again. Okay. I can't see a world where they would let this guy be a defensive coordinator and head coach if he's allowing 52 points. I just can't see it. Because that means there's got to be some kind of gap, some kind of oversight, something that he could have seen if he had been paying attention to one thing.
Well, yeah. But it's – I hope everybody's ready for this run. I think the Bills can do it. After seeing what I saw yesterday, I do think the Bills can do it. If I'm looking at their schedule, right, Eagles coming up, the defense, just don't try to force runs against that team because you're not going to get them. You have to win that game If you're gonna try to run the ball, you've got to go screens. You know, whether it's bubble screens or traditional screens. Wide receiver screens might even work well, right? But you've got to be creative in the passing world and develop things to get the ball to your running backs in space. That's how you'll be able to beat them with a quasi run game, right? But don't go at that defensive line. Everything that you do needs to be kept away from that defensive line, and I think it's clear. The stats point out the pass defense can be beaten, right? And we have one of the better passing offenses in the league if it can be brought out by Joe Brady, right? So that's the Eagles game. Now, if you go to the Chiefs, their pass rush is great. Their secondary is pretty good, right? But they're not world beaters. They've played a lot of bad quarterbacks this year, right? And if I'm looking at the Chiefs, I just want to pull up the Chiefs. Let me see, where are they? I want to pull up their schedule.
Their schedule?
Yep, so I got it here. So let me see. Is that preseason? Oh, no. Yeah, that's preseason. And okay, so there's week 1. So they lost to the Lions, right?
By a point, yep.
They beat up on the Jaguars, which were a bad team early. Then they beat up on the Bears. Then they go and they beat the Jets. Then they beat the Vikings before they started turning it around. And the Vikings only lost by a touchdown. Then they go and beat up on the Broncos. Then they go and beat up on the Chargers, who can't play defense to save their lives. Then they go and they lose to the Broncos in the Mahomes was sick game. Right? Then they win by a touchdown against the Dolphins. We pretty much gave the rest of the league the game plan for beating the Dolphins anyway. So, you know, I mean, beating the Dolphins by a touchdown when you're supposed to be the best AFC team in the league, okay, whatever. I mean, we'll see. You know, we'll see what this game looks like tonight. You know, the Chiefs' offense is not what it used to be, and the defense is better than it was last year, right? So I think, you know, schematically, or I'll say matchup wise, we actually match up better against the Chiefs than we probably ever have, because our offense is good, so it's strength against strength, and our defense is beat up, weakness against weakness. Right? Now,
looks like you can run on them too.
Exactly. So these teams are beatable, and it's great to look at it that way, because when you have an offensive coordinator that is operating under the philosophy that there is a way to beat every team in the league, you just have to figure it out. That means game in and game out, he's going to be looking for matchups. And if you look at any Super Bowl winning team, offensively, that's what they focused on. And that's not to say that every team doesn't do that, but not every offensive coordinator, and we've seen this with Ken Dorsey, obviously, not every offensive coordinator has the wherewithal to break away from whatever the game plan is to try and figure out new things along the way. Right? So, okay. I'm like, was that all just on you? Nah, I'm just playing. So, yeah, you know, so back to the Bills schedule, right? So the Chiefs are a beatable team, right? And then you get to the Cowboys. Now, I know a lot of people probably don't want to hear this, but the Cowboys are probably the most complete team out of all of these teams that we're going to play so far.
I believe that.
Right? Offensively, they have the ability to run on us if they want to. Even though they haven't been a great running team this year, they still have the ability to do that. And if they want to pass the ball, there's that there for them too. Right? Now, their offensive line isn't what it used to be, right? So we should be able to get a decent pass rush on Dak. With that said, that defense is better than it's ever been. I think this is the best Cowboys defense they've had since the Super Bowl years. Right? That would probably be the toughest game. Now, what we have going for us is it's here at home. Dak does not play well statistically. He doesn't play well outside of Dallas. right? So yet again, another situation where it's a very winnable game because we're taking advantage of the other team's disadvantages, right? Chargers, they can't play defense.
No. They're wasting. When I say wasting, they're wasting Herbert.
Right. So we could easily get into a shootout December 23rd in LA at 8 p.m. and win that game. By then, the offense should be figured out as far as, Brady knowing what works and what doesn't and what to do and how to use the guys we have, right? And then you got the Patriots and the Dolphins. Now, Jalen Ramsey is playing well. He does add a different element to that defense. And they are a good run defense. I think they're top 11 in the league. They're 11th. We looked that up last week. They have a really good run defense, right? But you can win against those linebackers. And now that we're starting to throw the ball to Kincaid, I don't know. Maybe throw it to him again in that game?
Maybe.
So again, I can make a case where we have an opportunity to win all these games. We can do it, but on the other side of that is, will Sean allow us to do that? Will Sean allow us to do what's necessary or do whatever it takes to win these games? Because if that means going for it on 4th down against the Chiefs every single time we're in the red zone so that we can score touchdowns and not field goals, that might be necessary. Right? We got an offensive coordinator who's shown he can come up with some stuff.
Yeah.
The question is Sean going to trust him to come up with the stuff in order to get ahead on these good teams and stay ahead on these good teams?
High fade and Jane.
Right.
Believe in it.
I mean, if you couldn't trust that guy to do that when they were on the 15-yard line and it was 4th and 2, 4th and 3, if you couldn't trust your offensive coordinator to do that, knowing Zach Wilson didn't have anything for you that whole night, he wasn't going to have it for the Jets the whole night.
No,
you knew he was cooked. Fourth and 2.
Yeah.
Nah, we'll kick the field goal. What?
Man walking. Yep. Because at one point in time, the punter had the longest pass of the game. He still it tied for the longest pass of the whole game because the longest pass they had was 18 and the next one was 15. But yeah, that's pretty sad. It's really sad. You can't conduct business like that. Heads are gonna roll in New York. Heads are gonna roll.
Yeah. But the only reason they survive is because Aaron Rodgers is coming back next year.
Yeah, December 24th. He says.
Yeah. He'll be able to practice.
He's going to stand on the sideline December 24th.
Well, I will say this: the ankle he injured is not the ankle I don't think it's his right ankle, right?
I'm trying to remember I think so.
Yeah. You think it's his left? Okay. Well, now we got a good old fashioned debate. What ankle? What ankle did Aaron Rodgers hurt? Which one did you say, June? It was his left.
You said it. You see how he said it? He didn't even look.
Right.
It was the left.
At least he was awake. That's all that matters to me.
He was aggressive.
All that
I'm
matters.
scared. I'm glad you're right with you.
So yeah. I mean, this would be a problem for Rodgers coming back this season because the left foot is often the launch foot, right? You push from the back foot after you reach the finality of your drop, but the launch foot is your left. That's where you're releasing the ball, and most of your weight is on when the ball is out of your hands. So, I mean, yeah, he can say it. He can say he's coming back.
He goes to the school of Von Miller, so he's going to say a bunch of stuff. He's going to say a bunch of stuff, and it's like, all right.
I didn't even think about that.
I did. As soon as I was like,
word.
And I was like,
Yo, we need like a little poster or something like that to put up at every press conference that Sean is in. Just put Keyshawn's face. Just
yep. Oh man, I would co-sign that. Every time Mookie Hawkins asks a question, you put my face up.
Yeah, right. you see a little poster go.
Let me stop
my
messing
God.
with Mook because he's a good dude. But
Yeah.
oh yeah, the last thing I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Actually, two last things. I forgot Linval Joseph was on this team. I really did. Yesterday, I saw a 93 go for something. He dove for. I was like, who's 93? Elianku again? And I saw the dreads coming out. I was like, I know who that is.
Joseph.
Big black face mask. I know who that is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let's give Ed Oliver his flowers again. Evidently, they said he creates more negative plays against double teams than any other player in the league.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I tried to figure out how they pulled that stat, but I don't care. They raved about this guy. They said he was. I mean, I like Ed. I think Ed's doing a hell of a job. But to say he's got the most done, you're thinking about Chris Jones. You're talking about what's the guy from Tennessee? The D tackle that they just signed.
Tennessee. Oh, Jeffrey.
Yeah, Jeffrey, whatever.
Yeah.
But they're that's lofty praise for a guy who's 6 feet, 6'1", 275, 280 against guys that are built to
Excuse
make
me,
negative
sir.
plays.
He's listed at 287. Thank you very
I'm
much.
sorry.
Get it right.
But after he's doing this all the time.
Yeah. What are you saying? He's losing 7
I
pounds
think he
off
lost
of
some
that?
weight. I think he lost some weight. But honestly, that goes back to the fun again with the dance, and then Ed Oliver, Leonard Floyd's over here doing the same dance, and AJ Finesse over here doing it. I mean, it was just great to see them having fun out there, and I hope it carries over. And I don't want Coach McClappy to ruin or try to talk them out of the swagger that they built yesterday. Deion Dawkins, a little clap back to Clemens after the game. He said, "Oh, now you want to fight, but you ain't having that on the field, clown." Like, wow, called him a clown. I mean, hey, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? You got egg on your face. You had numerous chances to try to get at me, and you didn't. Don't do it in the hallway now. It's over. So don't wait for me now. It's over. But the only negative thing I will say about the game, my favorite stat, Sam Martin.
Oh boy.
3.87 second hang time. 3.87 second hang time. Punted net average of 33 yards a kick. No returns. 33 yards a kick.
He dropped one inside the 10-yard line.
He did. I saw that one. I was excited about that. Even though it bounced back, it was about to come out of the 10-yard line.
Right. Right.
But no, I mean, they got to clean that up. I don't even care what Josh Allen's time to throw was, because when you look at him versus Zach Wilson, he did everything right. He just did everything right. Then they said they didn't have I have it here. They said they didn't have a positive offensive yard until, was it 7 minutes of possession time? So in the second quarter is when they got their first positive offensive yard.
Mm-hmm. Garrett Wilson, dude, I'm sorry, man. Like,
I know. Come on over.
yeah, you got to blame Aaron Rodgers for that, man.
Come on
What
over.
year is he in now? Is this his fourth year? This is
Second.
So this is his second year right now.
His second year. Come on over.
He's stuck for another 3
Hey
years.
man, by the time your contract is up, Steph Diggs is gonna one of two things: he's gonna retire, he's gonna leave, or we'll just have the money on the cap to welcome you long term. Come on over, Garrett. Then Shakir can be number 2 wide receiver. He'd be the 3.
You in your bag right now.
I'm in my bag.
You in your bag.
But yeah, I mean that's what happens when you see something that you enjoy. You know, I enjoyed it. I really did. I was happy to see, more than anything, the outcome of the game. I was happy to see the guys just not with the puss on their face, not with the the sad sack. I didn't want to see Josh Allen with the hat on over his eyes. I didn't want to see people breathing hard.
He
like
cut
this
his
is
hair.
just a tough one. I know that might have did it.
He cut his hair.
That might have did it. What's his girlfriend name? Haley Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld.
Steinfeld.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. I know she's in some movie, but
Well, she plays. Is it Huntress? Yeah, she plays Huntress. In
yep.
No,
yeah.
Huntress is DC. Huntress is DC. So who? I forget the name of the character.
Why don't we just take this last moment to look it up?
You gonna look it up? Who does Haley Steinfeld play?
Yes, because I really don't know.
Wait, you don't know what she looks like?
I mean, kind of.
There she is.
Oh, EE. Oh, EE. December 11, 1996.
She was in one of my favorite movies, Ender's Game.
What is it? Ender's Game.
Yeah, she's in Ender's Game. She's the young girl that ended up joining his squad.
I don't remember. The movie was good.
Yeah,
the movie was good. I actually I wanted to make a second one, but. Huh?
So remember when he got sent to the Salamanders?
Did I watch it? Okay, yes, I do remember.
I've watched this movie several times.
Yes. That was the other team. Yes,
right. She was on the Salamanders already.
Got you.
And she's the one that the Bonzo or whatever didn't want him training with.
Okay. Yeah, I remember him going to the team. I remember that. And
then the captain made him have his own team, and she joined him.
So what's the
Hawkeye?
Yeah.
What did you say?
No. Kate Bishop.
Yeah, same person.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah.
No, Hawkeye is not Kate Bishop.
Then why does it say both of them then? It says she played both of them.
Wait, so she's...
She is Hawkeye. No, Hawkgirl.
I don't know. It says, hey.
I don't know.
Is this like Clark Kent and
No, this is Marvel. So
no, I mean, is it like Clark Kent and Superman? Is like the same person, only she's...
Oh, yeah. So her superhero name is Hawkeye.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I learned something new. Well,
right.
Maybe Haley Steinfeld didn't want Josh to have the long hair anymore, so she said cut it, and he did opposite of Samson. Short hair, he's got superpowers.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't think he ever had his hair that long until this year.
Nope. Gotta listen to your woman. Put the woman first, I guess.
You think she told him to cut it?
No, but you probably shouldn't have.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Too much fun for the day.
Yeah, we starting to get into a whole bunch of other stuff now. You did a great closeout last time. Did you want to do it again?
Okay. All right, guys. We had a lot of fun today with the Bills win, actually. I want you guys to continue on. I like that we got questions. I like that we got answers. I like that we had some interaction with people today. So keep it going. Keep it flowing. If you know somebody that knows something that knows somebody that knows something, tell them you might want to push a little ring-a-ling-a-ling. Make it happen. We're at, 40 people subscribed now? And
on where? Oh, do we? On YouTube?
Yeah, we got 40 subscribers on YouTube.
My goodness.
Let's keep it going, man. This is a beautiful thing. It's not about the subscribes. It's not about the views. It's about who's watching our stuff and who really enjoys what we do.
Hey, listen, I love the comments, whether you agree, disagree, all that. I will read every comment I possibly can as long as it's tasteful.
And it's not even a super chat. It's free.
Right.
Comment away.
Exactly. But I love it. Thank you. Please keep up with that. That's been great.
Yeah. I had fun with you today, man. I had fun with the producer over there. I had fun with the
long as he's awake.
Setup. Even when he's not.
Even when he's not.
Gives you comedy even when he's down.
Of course you would love it because the camera was stuck on you for 10 minutes.
I didn't know that, though. I was like... See, now I know how it happens. I see how this works. But you guys, good night. Be safe. And I'll talk to you guys on Friday.
All right, for the Post Podium Podcast, home of the no sodium for the Bills.
All truth, but it's sometimes sodium, but then there's not at times. So then we won't have sodium. But we like you said, we have a lot of fun. We like to laugh, we like to joke, and we like to interact with everybody that's coming in, new and old. Come on through.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's nice and cozy over here.
Appreciate y'all. We'll be back again on Friday, 5:45. Make sure you tune in. Settle everything you need to settle before that show because it's gonna be real good. Us talking about how we gonna beat these Eagles on Sunday. You dig? So, I've been your co-host Aramis.
It's Keith,
and we are out.